The Eastern Sierra News, brought to you by the T-Bar Social Club, June Lake's newest gathering place, offering June pie, New York-style pizza, and year-round entertainment with a warm, welcoming atmosphere. See you in the Loop.
National Park Service NPS staff will host a public meeting November 17th at 1 p.m. to give an update and discuss timelines for the recently completed Saline Valley Warm Springs Final Management Plan and Environmental Impact Statement. Saline Valley Warm Springs are located in a remote northwest corner of Death Valley National Park, 35 miles from the closest paved road. Recreational users developed soaking tubs and art installations starting in the 50s. The site was managed by the Bureau of Land Management until it was transferred to NPS by the California Desert Protection Act of 1994. The NPS started working on a management plan for the site in 2012. Inyo County, the BLM, and the Timbisha Shoshone Tribe participated in the plan as cooperating agencies. Several organizations were heavily involved in providing comments, including the Saline Preservation Association and Recreation Aviation Foundation. There were opportunities for the public to provide feedback on the plan's direction in 2012, 2014, and 2018. The NPS hosted 12 public meetings and received a total of 1,696 pieces of correspondence during these comment periods. The NPS made changes to the plan at every stage of the process, reflecting the feedback received from the public, organizations, and agencies. Saline Valley is a very special part of Death Valley National Park, and this unique area is enjoyed by visitors from around the world. We look forward to meeting with the public to celebrate the completion of this planning effort and to begin implementing the plan by working with partner groups and the public, said Death Valley National Park Superintendent Mike Reynolds. Staying same under the plan, existing soaking tubs at Lower Spring and Palm Spring will remain in use and maintain their historic form into the future. Upper Spring will remain undeveloped as it returns to its natural condition. All art installations that were in place by January 1st, 2019 in non-wilderness areas will stay in place. Airplane use of the chicken strip, in use for decades, is authorized by a separate special regulation. NPS established memorandums of understanding, MOUs, with user groups for maintenance and management of Saline Valley Warm Springs. Public nudity is common at the site and the plan is silent on this topic. Public nudity is not against federal regulations, but lewd behavior is. Some changes from the plan are already implemented while others will require future funding. 3 camping zones will be established. Artistic fencing will be added around source springs to prevent access by non-native burros. Existing mature palm trees will stay at Lower Spring and Palm Spring. The Upper Spring will be restored to its natural condition, including removal of all non-native plants, including palm trees. New artwork will be allowed only if it does not disturb natural or cultural resources, is temporary, and is removed by visitors when they leave. The auto shop will be removed and associated hazardous materials will be cleaned up and removed. The NPS will address concerns about water quality, storage of hazardous materials, and wastewater. The public meeting will be held at Saline Valley Warm Springs on November 17th at 1 p.m. Those intending to attend the public event must carefully prepare for the trip, which is several hours from the nearest paved road. High clearance vehicles with all-terrain tires are recommended, and those coming must bring all of their own supplies. We have the complete story on our website, sierrawave.net. The weather outside may not be frightful yet, but it's right around the corner. With ski season and the holidays, millions will hit the roads. The California Highway Patrol and the California Office of Traffic Safety, OTS, are partnering on a new campaign aimed at reducing the number of crashes caused by impaired drivers through enforcement and education efforts. The year-long California Impaired Driving Reduction, CIDR campaign, which began October 1st, continues through September 30th, 2020. The CIDR grant provides the CHP with funding to conduct additional driving under the influence DUI, saturation patrols, checkpoints, and traffic safety education efforts throughout California. These efforts are designed to remove DUI drivers from the roadway and educate the public regarding the dangers of impaired driving. Additionally, the CHP will actively participate in California Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over efforts. According to the CHP's statewide integrated traffic record system data, in 2017, there were 594 deaths and more than 11,000 injuries due to DUI crashes within the CHP's jurisdiction. Each one of those injuries and deaths represents a preventable tragedy and a continued need to focus efforts on reducing impaired driving. Reducing impaired driving through education and enforcement remains a high priority for the CHP, said CHP Commissioner Warren Stanley. This campaign provides the CHP with additional resources to lessen the impacts of impaired driving while continuing to make California's roadways a safer place to travel. The CHP continues to encourage the public to have a plan before getting on the road. In addition to alcohol, driving under the influence of cannabis, medications, and/or drugs is illegal and dangerous. Always designate a sober driver, take public transportation or rideshare. There is always a better option when getting behind the wheel while impaired. The CHP would like to remind the public to call 911 if they observe a suspected DUI driver. Be prepared to provide the dispatcher a location, direction of travel, and vehicle description. If you have questions regarding impaired driving, please contact your local CHP area office. Funding for this program is provided by a grant from OTS through the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Highway safety partners say stay awake to stay alive. The California Highway Patrol and the Office of Safety, OTS, and the California Department of Transportation, Caltrans, are partnering to promote drowsy driving prevention, to remind people of the dangers of drowsy driving at any time of year. Drowsy drivers put themselves and others at risk through a slower reaction time and the inability to pay attention, said CHP Commissioner Warren Stanley. A sleepy driver can be just as impaired or dangerous as one under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Data from the CHP's statewide integrated traffic record system showed an average of almost 7,000 collisions involving sleepy or fatigued drivers in each of the last 3 years. Those collisions resulted in the deaths of 73 people in California in 2016, 47 people in 2017, and 47 in 2018. Driving when you are tired is risky and dangerous. OTS Director Barbara Rooney said, "The last thing you want to do is doze off behind the wheel. It is important that we all act responsibly and get enough rest before driving." Reports from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration show that getting enough sleep on a daily basis is the only true way to protect against drowsy driving. In a state the size of California, long drives between cities are common. Without enough rest, all of us may feel drowsy behind the wheel, said Caltrans Director Tokes Ameshekan. We encourage drivers to stop at one of our 86 rest areas to stretch their legs or get a few minutes of shut-eye. Caltrans encourages motorists to take advantage of the more than 80 safety roadside rest areas it maintains throughout the state. To find a rest area or to check for the latest travel information on state highways, visit quickmap.ca.gov. Well, child passenger restraint is also a continued CHP priority. The California Highway Patrol is renewing its efforts to ensure children are safely secured while traveling California's roadways. The CHP has partnered with the California Office of Traffic Safety to implement the California Restraint, Safety Education, and Training 3 campaign. The Car Seat 3 campaign will run for 1 year and focus on reducing the number of unrestrained and improperly restrained children killed in traffic collisions throughout California. To accomplish this goal, the CHP will host educational seminars, classes, and child safety seat inspections. These efforts will highlight the importance of child passenger restraint and seatbelt usage and provide education related to the proper installation of child passenger safety seats. California law does require a child to be properly restrained in an appropriate child safety seat in the rear seat of a vehicle until they are at least 8 years of age. Children age 8 and older who are at least 4 feet 9 inches may ride in the rear seat of a vehicle in a properly fitted seatbelt. Children under the age of 2 must ride in a rear-facing child safety seat until they reach 40 pounds or 40 inches in height. For the best protection, all children should ride rear-facing as long as possible until they reach the upper weight and height limits of their car seat. Making sure everyone in your vehicle is buckled up in an appropriate car seat for their age and size is the easiest way to prevent serious injury or even death in the event of a crash, said CHP Commissioner Warren Stanley. The Commissioner also encourages drivers to set up an example by buckling up for every trip, no matter how short. The goal of this campaign is to educate parents and caregivers to ensure all children and adults in California are using car seats and seat belts for every trip. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, child passenger safety seats reduce the risk of fatal injury by 71% for infants and by 54% for toddlers in passenger cars. In addition to educational efforts, the CHP will be conducting enforcement operations concentrating on occupant restraint violations throughout the year, with a special emphasis during the National Click It or Ticket campaign in May and National Child Passenger Safety Week in September. For more information regarding seatbelt regulations, child passenger safety, child safety seats, including free inspections and installations by appointment, please contact your local CHP area office. Funding for this program is provided by a grant from the California Office of Traffic Safety through the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. We have the complete stories on our website, sierrawave.net. We will be back with more news, information on great events, and the weather.